The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the community. The material and information presented on this podcast is for general information purposes only, and any reliance on the information provided on this podcast is done at your own risk. Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Apology Accepted podcast. Woohoo! I am live, y'all. This is your host, Latisha Monique, and I am live today with the beautiful Lesley White AKA Lez in the house.
Hey.
Hey. Can I hear you? Yes, I can. Okay, cool beans, y'all. Listen. We've had a whole thing going on before going live, y'all. And it definitely put me back back in the day, y'all. So we're going to jump into this episode. Again, speaking to the beautiful entrepreneur, Lesley White, AKA Lez. So you'll hear me say Lez from this point forward, because what we ain't going to do is keep saying that whole name like that.
Whole government.
Right. So Lez is what it's going to be going forward. And so let me just start with a little history with me and Lez, y'all. So I met Lez a couple of years ago. Was it at an event? I think.
It was the thing that DOC has, Laura.
Yes, you did a women's panel at your job, and I responded was like, yes, I want to be a part. I want to, participate, whatever. Mm-hmm. And from there, we just kind of kept in contact because that's what it's all about: networking, communicating,
that's right.
Connecting. From there, I ended up being a part of her group. Dang, it just left me. What was it? EBO. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I made my own little song and everything. EBO, baby, EBO. Yes. Okay. It's all coming back. So, oh my gosh, I loved EBO. That was amazing.
Yeah. I really want to talk about some things about EBO and those growth opportunities. Yes. I'm so excited to be here. Finally, I get to be on your show. Finally, I'm here. She
is here, y'all. She is here. I'm so glad to have you. Thank you for saying yes. Like it was a yes with no thought. Like, yeah. Like, yeah. I was like, what? Did she even read my message? All right, but she is here now, y'all. And so we're going to dive into what is going on in these business streets with Lez. Like, you have so much going on. And I've told you that so many times. Like, girl, how do you do everything that you are doing? Because I've been able to watch your growth all the way back from, wait a minute, let's take it back a little bit further. I was on your show with Nicole.
That's right.
What was right? Yes, like what That's was right. that?
And I think that was even before you came out.
Yes,
the thing at DOC and the thing with Laura Brown, right?
Yep.
It was even before that.
It was before that. So I was on your show with Nicole way back when. Mm-hmm. And so to see you just kind of transition and do some things differently, and nothing has stopped you. Like, so we're going to tap into all that. But right now, I just want to do a quick check-in and ask you, how you feeling? How you doing? I mean, It's a beautiful Thursday, so what's up?
I feel amazing.
All right. You say that all the time. Mm-hmm. How you really feeling? Amazing. Got it.
I am freaking amazing. Let me tell you something real quick about amazing. It's things you have to put into your spirit, how you're feeling. The only time I really won't say I'm amazing is if I'm feeling sick. But when people ask me that, it touches them in a way. And so there was a guy at work one day, And he said, how are you? I said, I'm amazing. He was like, wow, really? I said, heck yeah. And so as we're talking, I didn't know him. It was the first time I really had a conversation with him. And I said, well, what do you do? He said, he's like the head of IT or something. He said, well, I just do the head of IT. I said, wait a minute, hold on. It's not just what you do. You're doing things that we can't do. You're making sure we can do our jobs. Right. And so then as the conversation going, I said, so how are you? He said, I'm amazing. I said, you say that every time that somebody asks you, how are you? I'm amazing. I'm amazing. You know.
I like that.
Look at where God has me. Just turned 52, what?
What, 2 days ago?
Right.
Happy birthday.
New grandbaby. My kids are doing well. I'm in a beautiful home. I'm still doing a 9 to 5. Love my job. So it's just, why wouldn't I say I'm amazing? And of course, I still have a few things, some obstacles here and there. But yeah, I'm amazing.
Absolutely. I love it. And it feels good for me to hear you say that you're amazing, because, you know, sometimes you can talk to people and they just be ready to just emotionally vomit all over. You be like, whoa.
Emotionally vomit.
Like, geez. You know, but I asked, so, and they gave it to me, so I just wasn't prepared, you know, and sometimes we ask that question really not being prepared for the answer. So that was a learning process for me. And so you mentioned all of these different things. So yes, you are now what do you call yourself? You call yourself grandma?
I'm Gigi. I'm her Gigi. She's my sweet girl.
Okay. So how is the whole Gigi journey coming?
It's great. I think the greatest thing for me in this journey is seeing her grow. You know, when you're a mom, a new mom, and you get additional children, the focus is work and making sure they eat, making sure I eat, getting them to school, getting to work. So, you know, sometimes, of course, you see your children grow, but you don't always get to have that, you know, that lens where you really, really seeing their growth. And so I'm seeing her grow because me and my daughter actually live in the same house. And so, you know, I was there in the delivery room. So I got to see that, you know, then to see her, okay, she's crawling. She's saying, you know, baby talk. She's reaching for things. She's understanding things. So just to see that growth is really amazing from a different perspective than being a parent and seeing the growth.
Yes, because you get to do the things that, you know, you get to be the nice one, and parents got to be more authoritative, you know, so you get to slide little treats and extra juices and stuff.
Right.
Or your daughter probably like, Ma, now she done had enough. But you know, that one more little cookie ain't gonna hurt.
Yeah, my daughter is, please stop telling people that her name is Sweet Girl. And so people are actually calling her Sweet Girl. She went to my mom's house one day and my niece was there. My niece had never seen my Sweet Girl in person. So my mother said, I think it was my mother or my daughter said, my niece said, oh, so this is the famous Sweet Girl.
Absolutely. It is.
So yeah, she's my Sweet Girl.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm so excited for you on that. I know you posted her, you blasted her once you was able to get the go ahead. And she is absolutely adorable. So yes, Sweet Girl. She is the famous Sweet Girl on social media. So cool. All right, cool. So jumping back to the business side, now that we know that you are wonderful, doing fabulous, you know, you the new Gigi, you got everything under control. I know you mentioned briefly that you still work your 9 to 5, you still doing your thing on business and entrepreneurship. So what's going on with you? What exactly are your hands on at this moment?
So like you said, I still had a 9 to 5, and thank God for the flexibility of this job. Because prior to this job, I left a very toxic work environment. So it's good to be at a point where I go to work and I'm happy. You know, I'm surrounded by great people. But as far as what I'm doing, the main focus is my apparel business. So prior to this, I was about to say I had King's Closet. I actually have King's Closet, so I had to make some adjustments with that. So now the focus is my t-shirt apparel business. That's the main focus right now.
Okay. And that started when?
Let me say, so probably about maybe 5-6 years ago, I was doing blinged out t-shirts.
I
did that for a little while. I kind of stopped with COVID. That kind of just, you know, had me to pump the brakes on that business because it was a business where you had people to come out or you went to people and you helped them to create blinged out t-shirts. And so when COVID came, that kind of, like I said, pumped the brakes on that. I had the idea for t-shirts with vinyl for a while, but I never acted on it. It was like, okay, yeah. And I got different information from various people. And it's so funny that the young lady who does my t-shirts, because I love my Hustlerette t-shirts, I called her one day. I said, hey, I got an idea for you. She was like, what? I said, I said glue. She was like, okay. So I said, it stands for grounded, limitless, unapologetic, enough. I said, you can have it. I don't want anything for it. She's like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. She said, but no, I'm not going to take it because you're going to need it. I was like, oh, okay.
Wait a minute. Okay, so glue mean what now?
Grounded, limitless, unapologetic, enough.
Okay. I love it.
Thank you.
The glue. I got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so she was like, no, you're going to need it. I was like, yeah, okay. And so probably January of this year is when I finally got serious and decided not to give the idea to anybody else. But that's when I really got serious with learning how to do things, learning about sublimation, learning about vinyl, learning about t-shirts, just learning so much about this business. And it took off from there. You know, when I started, I really didn't know a lot because doing a blinged out t-shirt and doing a vinyl t-shirt,
different,
two different worlds. And so, in that trying to practice and do things and buy the vinyl, because like I've got all these machines in here that aren't cheap. So, you know, having to buy the t-shirts and vinyl and practice and mess up. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start $10 tees. So, to be able to still pay for all the vinyl and all the t-shirts and everything and the training, the extra training that I took and things like that, you know, I started to do the $10 t-shirts just to start getting the experience.
Okay. I like that. And so was the t-shirt business like a spinoff from when King's Closet kind of shifted a little bit?
I wouldn't say a spinoff because they're two different worlds, so to speak. I mean, it's still apparel, but my King's Closet line solely focuses on men.
Lingerie. Oh, men. Okay.
Yeah, loungewear for men. And, you know, after Chris passed, because Chris was the face for King's Closet, I kind of, took a break from King's Closet, and then I had to make some adjustments. As a new business owner, I think sometimes we give up too easy if we find that things aren't working the way we think they should work, where sometimes you just need to make the adjustment. And so when the focus became the glue apparel business, I knew that at that point I had to set it up so that King's Closet is seasonal. So King's Closet will go from probably January to September of every year versus trying to do it for the whole year. So we're looking at King's Closet for Valentine's Day, King's Closet for Father's Day, and then we just kind of, slow it down from there and then prepare for the next year. So, yeah, they're two different, like I said, still clothing, but just two different ideas and worlds, so to speak.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in this journey of your t-shirt business, how is that going? Is it more like you do personal t-shirts for your clients, what they want, or is it more you come up with these are your line t-shirts and people just purchase that?
So I started, and I don't know if you remember or not, but I love quotes. I love quotes. I love motivational things. And so I started with that, with coming up with those designs. There was a few things that I looked at online. Of course, I turned it into my own thing. And so as I start putting out the $10 tees, a couple people asked for custom designs. I'm like, oh, I don't know. There's one young lady, her name is Tippy Spencer. And so she reached out to me. She's like, hey, can you do some custom tees for her? I'm like, well, let me tell you this, ma'am, I'm just starting this out. So, I don't want to do anything elaborate or what have you. I said, but if you want to give me the business, I'll take it. I said to myself, normally, probably if this was a couple of years ago, I would have told her no flat out. But as a growing entrepreneur, a growing businesswoman, I realized, hey, you got to take on those challenges. And even if I don't do my best, then that's a lesson learned. How do I fix it going forward? And so when she and I had the conversation, I said, well, here's the thing. And you have to, and being a business person, period, male or female, you have to be able to do things to make your customers happy. So I told her, I said, well, here's the thing. I'll do it. And if you're not happy with it, I'll give you your money back. Because anytime I'm doing shirts, you got to pay me first. I don't do payment later.
Right.
Pay up front. You get the t-shirt. And, from that, I was able to learn some things because, there was a few things that didn't go right. And so from that, I learned, okay, there are certain things I need to have on my invoice, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. So I'm very grateful and thankful to her for giving me that opportunity. And I've had a couple of custom designs after that.
Okay. All right. So how are the custom designs? Because at this point you have to now cater to the customer. And, sometimes we get the picky customer. Well, and I shouldn't say picky, but I'm going to use that word because
you should.
Like, now really? Okay. And so I know for me, I never wanted to, I always strayed away from those type of businesses where I had to 100% satisfy the customer or the front end. Oh, I don't like that. See, and that's why God has made all of us different, because you have that patience probably to be like, I'm going to try this because I'm not going to turn down no business. And me, I just would have never did it. So, and I said, I've even shared this. I was like, I want to learn how to make shirts, but I don't want to make it for nobody else. So I just never said anything to nobody else because I only want to make it for me. And everybody said, I don't want to do business with it. It's just, this is me and I'm only doing it for me.
Right.
So for you to say, I took on this business opportunity so it could be my lesson and I can now figure out, okay, what I need to do. I'm so glad you mentioned having to adjust your invoice, because sometimes in business, those are things that we don't think of. We think about the product in itself and making it look pretty and making it, but we never really think about that behind the scenes part, that that behind the scenes customer service where your invoice need to say this or that, because that's what we as the customer are going to refer to. If you, oh well, that ain't what my invoice said. And so there's I had meant to put and so I think that is a great lesson that you are sharing, because a lot of times we just don't think about that. How has the shirt business been different from other businesses you have started?
I will say this business has given the greatest turnaround as far as money.
Okay.
I will say that.
Up front.
I think it's challenged me a little bit more because I've had to do more and learn more in this business. Like I said, this is way different than doing a blinged out t-shirt. And so taking on those custom orders, and I'm to this day, I'm so glad that I did, because it forced me to learn things that I didn't know about doing t-shirts. So, that was great in itself, just having that. And again, just having those lessons learned, because when I did her invoice, what she I put exactly what we spoke about in the conversation. And then when she and I talked again after I did the t-shirt, she said, well, I thought this, I thought that, or the other. And so from that point, that's when I said, from now on, every email will say, payment is approval of your order. And so I find too that a lot of people don't look at the invoice.
No.
But at this point, I've already put it out there. Payment is approval. It's saying you're okay. I send you an invoice and I tell people, look at the invoice and make sure it's exactly what you want. Because when you get to a point, and I'm big on customer service. So, if you tell me something's wrong, I want to fix it. But if it's something that you didn't take the time to look at and read, then there's a problem. So, okay, so that's one aspect. So again, the turnaround for the money, it forces me to be creative, has me thinking outside of the box.
Mm-hmm.
I think those have been the greatest things, because with each business, you have to do the research. You have to take a chance. You have to be willing to spend the money. You have to build the clientele. You have to do the marketing. You have to do the promos. You can't be afraid to put yourself out there. So I think with each business, that foundation is the same. But with this business, like I said, it pushes me to do more. And because of the direction that I'm going in my life right now, I know that I have to stay with this and have this business to keep growing.
Okay. So will it be things that you add to this other than t-shirts?
Yeah. So there's some other things that I'm thinking about doing. Right now I'm waiting for my printer to be fixed. It's like the slightest little thing can mess up an expensive printer. So so I'm going to do some different things as far as expanding what I can do with the t-shirt and the vinyl and how the shirt looks. And like I said, this is why researching and training is important in whatever business you decide to go in, because I can actually take this business now and then have additional businesses connected to this. So for example, I've done websites for a while, my own websites. Yeah. So it's like now I can offer this service to someone else. Okay, you need a website? Okay, I can give you a basic website. I'm going to charge you $300, 4 pages, what have you. So, it's put me in a place where I can figure out what other businesses can be an extension of the apparel business.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's definitely a different way to look at it. And so as an entrepreneur, you are always trying to not only master your craft, but add to your craft. So you can be a business that offer more than one type of service or product. Okay. Okay. So it sounds like you having fun with this. And I know making money is important, okay? Because this is definitely a for-profit. But it sounds like you are definitely having fun with it. I catch some of your lives where you show the shirts that you have already printed, and you ran a sale for a couple of times. I think that it is so unique how you are able to transition in the many things that you are doing and still continue to do it with passion. Because even when I look at your live, I see the growth with your live, because you bought what was the thing you bought, and the camera supposed to follow you?
Oh yeah, this is
You was like, look, y'all, okay, bear with me, because I'm trying to figure this thing out. This is my first time using it. And so that made me want to stay on, because I was like, now what is she doing now? And to see that you were very transparent in your live, where it didn't have to be perfect. And I think sometimes individuals get caught up in making it seem like it has to be perfect as soon as it starts, and you don't. And sometimes you want to see your growth, because you want to see how far along you've come. And I mean, when you go back and look at those lives where that camera was getting stuck on you, you was like, now wait a minute. And you kept going to the camera and shaking it. It was like, now move with me. And I was like,
when it's live, you got to keep it moving.
Right. And you should have seen so many laugh faces come up because you made it. It wasn't like, Lord, let me just end this. Like, you did not end it until you were done. And so I admire you for that part, because I know, again, someone like me would have just been like, let me go back. Let me just stop this right now, because I just couldn't have done what you did to even keep going and keep the crowd and be like, all right, y'all, stay with me now. Stay with me. I'm just going through some hurdles. Out, but stay with me. So I definitely applaud you for that. And again, the transitions that has taken place with you in business, because I know I'd be like, well, what is Lez doing now? What does she got going on now? Because I've been able to follow you for so long in the different things. Now, what was it called that you and Chris was doing? Was that y'all talk show? What was
EDP 365?
Yes. And so what happened with that? Kind of just faded a little. I don't even know when it faded off. Do you still tap into that sometimes, or no?
No, it probably every once in a blue moon. It's really not that often. So Chris and I were doing that show every Tuesday. So it was fun. I got to hang out with like my best friend, and we did a lot of things. I was able to meet a lot of people. I was able to do a lot of things. But I'm a firm believer in sometimes you have to know when to let things go. And so Chris ended up getting, I think, a part-time job or something at that time. He was like, I really can't devote the time anymore every Tuesday. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And so, I was still passionate about EDP 365, still loving it. And so I tried some different things. I did it by myself. But then after a while, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize up until that point that we had been doing it for 5 years. And so, so I was like, okay, we've completed this journey. Again, I've been able to do so much with that. I've been able to meet so many people. I've been able to do so many things. I've been able to promote so many people and put people out there in front of, audiences that they hadn't been in front of before. And so I just felt like at that point, the mission was completed with EDP 365.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, with all of the joys and the happiness that you have definitely touched on with business and entrepreneurship, share with us some of your failures, or either one of your failures. I know you talked about it being difficult taking on tasks, making sure that things are to the liking of the client, and then the whole invoice situation. Give us another example of maybe a point where not necessarily wanting to quit, but you was like, all right, now, is this for me? Like, have you had a moment of, do I keep going? Or what have I learned from this episode of, maybe a customer that it didn't matter what you tried, they weren't satisfied, or, a big lessons. I shouldn't say failure, but like the biggest lessons.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm trying to think. Entrepreneurs and business owners.
Yes.
So I would say with that, I hate to say it was a failure, but it failed. It did. I mean, it's no way to get around it. It did. The idea for EBO was great. I think what we did in EBO was amazing because we were able to do a lot of things within the organization to be able to help each other to grow, to be able to learn from it. But when you've got a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities, sometimes things just go left. And I have a very dominant personality. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it works against me. And that's what happened in EBO. It worked for me, but it also worked against me as well. And so I think with that, it was probably the push that helped EBO to start to crumble. But in that, I learned some things I had to change about me. A lot of times we see situations and we're doing this when we need to do this. Yeah. And I had to look at some things about me that I needed to change. Some of the things that I did in EBO, I still feel today I made the right decision in certain things. But in other things, it's like, okay, there was a lesson there. I know going forward, I can't do this or I can't do that. But also during that time, and I don't think you realize how much you played such a big role in some of the things I realized I had to change about me. Because in EBO, you may have gotten angry about something, but it was always, we can fix it. It was never a thing where you wanted to argue and, you wanted to be bitter and go back and forth. You're that person that we cannot agree on something right now, but in 10 more minutes, we can go and have ice cream and get pedicures.
Yes.
And that's who you were for me in EBO. Regardless of what happened, you were still the cheerleader for me, regardless of what. Even after EBO, it was still, if I posted something, you were putting information, you were cheering me on, even inviting you to Loving the Skin I'm In. Oh yeah. Still this year, you participated in Loving the Skin I'm In. And so, and I know, please don't say this is about you, but this is about you. During this time, I've seen your growth as well. I've seen so many changes about you. I've seen so many things that I don't want to say weren't positive, but things you knew you needed to work on.
Absolutely.
Things you recognized about yourself, and you took those steps to fix them.
Well, I learned them at EBO.
Oh my gosh. And so I never saw you at a point not want to improve Latisha, the liaison. I never saw that. So, I mean, just your growth helped me to grow. How you take things on, and it's like, I'm just going to brush it off my shoulder. Yeah, and so,
we got to get through it.
And so EBO was like just one of the greatest things for me because it helped to build relationship. And I'm not even going to say with me, it helped y'all to build relationships because there were people in this organization that didn't know each other, but it helped y'all to build relationship. It helped us to grow. It helped us to see different things about each other. And I think at that point when things were good in EBO and even through the rocky points, I think we learned to become a family of sorts. But if I had the opportunity to do EBO again, I would, because it was a fantabulous organization, because it gave entrepreneurs, business owners, and brand builders the opportunity to help each other grow. And that's what we did in that group.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. I did everything in my power not to do what you had us do, the was it Toastmaster? Then we had to do a presentation. I was like, Lord, let me go last. I ain't fitting to be doing this. I don't want to. So I did everything in my power not to do it. But now I find myself, in situations where I have to. So I definitely enjoyed EBO. I would love to see you bring EBO back, but in a fashion of more so, instead of business, more so as a organization type of environment, because you definitely paved the way for individuals to connect. the networking was, I truly enjoyed that part of it. And then helping each other, like taking that time out. And that's what we don't see a lot of today, is individuals just getting together, really taking the time out to help someone else in their business. Like, we dedicated time to say, okay, well, what's your business need? You know, what you don't have, what you got, run down the checklist. How can we assist? And you don't see that often today, you know? And so I would, if you bring that back, I would be so happy. But that's just me.
And you just made me think, and I forgot about this piece, the accountability partners.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that piece was great.
That was tough. That was tough.
because in that, again, it was another opportunity for y'all to get to know each other. And with so much of that going on, I was able to kind of take a seat back, so to speak, or sit back a little bit as y'all continue to grow and help. Because I don't think everybody knew Val, but everybody loved Val.
Yep.
You know, everybody loved Val. So it was really great. I think we did so much with that organization in the time that EBO was active.
Yes. And then we started candid conversations. Like, it was so much I loved it. It was so much going on. And I think now when a lot of people think about business, and I shouldn't say most, but some people think about business, we look at the glam of what we see per social media. And so EBO, when we had to like really dive into our business and have people say, well, what is it that you're doing? Well, what is the mission? What did the checklist? It was amazing to hear people say, oh, I don't have a business plan. I don't have SEC. So I got to do what now? And so it was so much for every individual to learn that I think made them better in business as well, versus just having the idea in our head and saying, oh, now I'm a business owner, and now we just posting all over social media. You know, you helped us to just, all right, let's go to the drawing board here and say step 1, step 2, step 3, and what is it now? How do we support each other? So I think entrepreneurship is not easy. It is not easy. So I thank you for sharing that EBO was like one of your failures where you were able to learn a lot of things about yourself, because sometimes we are so quick when we think about business and we think about, oh, I want this person to be a part and that person to be a part. And then we want to bring people in. But just because we friends don't mean we will work well together. Because me working and me being a friend is two different me's. And so understanding that part and making sure that all parties involved understand how to work with one another, even when everybody disagree. And I think that was a part of EBO that we kind of didn't tap into, even when we all disagree, which is fine, but we still got to handle what's in front of us. And so I think that in entrepreneurship today, is more solo entrepreneur than it is those running to go into partnership. And sometimes that goes for people just wanting to do what they want to do and not have checks and balances. So that's a whole nother situation and issue that go hand in hand with business, because like you said, accountability is very important when you talk about entrepreneurship. And so you having those lessons, you having the talk show, and then that kind of dwindled because your partner was like, look, I can't dedicate that same time. And so being able to try to adjust and shift, but keep that going, and then starting something else and COVID, and then that couldn't be a full-fledged thing. And then, just continuing to move your feet, right? Not saying, well, I you know what, I'm just not gonna do anything else. I still got my 9 to 5. Boom. You didn't do that. And so you kept going, which I love that part about you, because it was like, well, what is Lez doing now? What in the world? What do she have time to do? And so for those individuals that will listen, and those who are on here looking now, thank you for tuning in, everyone who has joined. But those who will catch the replay or look at this next week, whatever the case may be, what encouraging words would you have to someone who is thinking about starting a business or becoming an entrepreneur? This lane is not for everybody. However, you don't know if this lane is for you if you never try. And so some people don't try out of fear. Some people don't try out of, oh, well, somebody else is already doing that. Because somebody might say, oh, well, she doing t-shirts there and I wanted to do t-shirts. I ain't gonna do them there because Lez do it. And we get stuck sometimes with that. I know I'm guilty of that. Like not wanting to do something because I'm like, oh, well, she's doing it. And a lot of times the she's has been people in my circle, friends of mine, where it's like, oh, I that might be, all right, I'll just support you and let you do it, and I'm going to move on to something else. So encouraging, what would you have to say to encourage someone to maybe step out there or think about it? Or
I think the first thing I would say that God gives you enough to start. That's the first thing. Research is important.
Very.
That's major. A lot of times people go into a business without doing the research. We get lost in the idea of, oh my gosh, I'm going to start this. I don't know why I'm thinking water. I'm going to start this water business and it's going to just be booming because I saw 10 people selling water and they making a lot of money. But you got to look at everything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Did you come up with your business plan? Okay. Did you think about the cost of the water bottle? Did you think about the cost of this? How are you going to advertise your business? Who are your customers? How do you get to them? So just doing that research, just beyond, oh, I can make a lot of money from this, from this business. One of the important things is never to give up. Something else that has really, really stuck with me over the last couple of years is you got to welcome the failures.
Yes.
You have to welcome the failures. You got to embrace them because those are your learning points. Those are your teaching points, because I would have stopped King's Closet. So like this year, I didn't do as well with King's Closet as I did last year. But then I realized, okay, you have to make King's Closet seasonal. You can't make it all year round. So it's just, again, you got to put in the work. You got to accept the failure, but you have to have faith, believe in God, believe that he's going to guide your steps, but you can't give up. You got to keep pushing no matter what. With this t-shirt business, there have been times I'm like, but it's like, how do you know how much you can achieve if you just stop? And so what I did was I started documenting certain things about my t-shirt business. Like, I got stuff in here that I done messed up, like vinyl I done messed up, shirts I've messed up, because it's so important to see your growth. And there was one day that I did think about, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do this. And I had to think. I didn't know anything about sublimation. I didn't know anything about vinyl. I got a heat press in here. And it was like, I didn't even know how to work the heat press. So it's like, look at your growth. That's important. Look at your step one, your day one. See where you are in 10 days. See where you are in 30 days, and focus on those things. And you're not 10 years down the line, or you're not doing what Latisha, the liaison, is doing. You're not where she's, but Latisha's already put in the work. So it's putting in that work and focusing on you, and stop trying to always mirror what somebody else is doing. Of course, you want your business to boom, but that path may be a little bit different. I know that was a whole lot, right?
No, but you are definitely right. And one thing I despise about business is the business plan. Like the business plan, listen, before you even think about, oh, I'm finna go and just blast, sit down and do your business plan, because you'll be like, wait, what? Because in your business plan, it is questions that make you think.
Yeah.
If you don't have these answers, then you might want to check that business opportunity or, venture again, because the business plan is bringing your business out into life. And so I know the first time I did one, I was like, I can't do this. I just can't do this. And so my husband played a big part in that, because it was more like, well, how your business supposed to, where your business is supposed to go if you don't do it. Like if you can't answer these questions about your business, then should it be a business? I was like, I don't know. I just don't want to answer these questions anymore. So that was a hard part. And then one thing that is really important is that a lot of people think that once they say, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going into business, that everybody's just going to be like, congratulations, yay, and I'm finna support and da. And that's not the case sometimes. Sometimes being in business can be very lonely. And I've learned that, it can definitely be very lonely. And my little cup here keeps me grounded. It just say, root for your damn self. Okay. Because I have to remind myself of that. Like you said, you feel wonderful. I just have to remind myself that I've been able to do things and check off things on my checklist. See, my to-do list gets shorter and shorter, because at first, starting off as an entrepreneur, I used to be like, oh, I need to have a gazillion things to do. Now I'm like, no, because having a gazillion things to do and you only been able to check off 2, you feel like, well, dang, I ain't do anything. And so I know you made that point in EBO so many times with us saying we got, so much on our plate, so much things to do. Well, why? Like, why are you trying to do all this today? And so I've learned again so much from being a part of EBO, but also just, failures of entrepreneurship. Business is going to have tough lessons. Now, can you survive those lessons? And you have definitely survived so many lessons where you are still supporting people and sharing people. You have so many groups. Run down some of these groups you got, because baby, I was like, how is she managing these groups?
Well, before we touch on the groups, I just want to piggyback on something that you said when you talked about entrepreneurship being lonely. I think this is where we get lost sometimes. We rely on our families and friends to support our business, where sometimes you have to go outside of your comfort zone. You know Colleen, don't you? She has Jackie's on the burner.
I know Jack. I've been in that establishment, but I don't know her. So
Colleen has been doing things for years and years and years and years. And I think she's like one of the greatest entrepreneurs, business owners in Richmond. And so I just so happened to get her to come on EBO with Chris and I. And she's, oh my gosh, she's so humble. She's so humble. She has so many things in Richmond because she does like a lot of the big productions, like when the rappers come to town and all that good stuff. And so in conversation with her, I asked her about, I get in business or something like that. This was a couple of years ago and I did an interview with her. And she said, you got to get off social media. She said, you got to get off social media. And that's what happens a lot of times. We get so comfortable with social media, we don't do the footwork anymore. And she said, you got to get out here and you got to do the footwork. And she's, again, amazing entrepreneur, amazing business owner. She said, you got to do the flyers. You got to go out and you got to talk to people and not just rely on posting things on social media. You got to make the phone calls. You got to have the conversations or you're going to be stuck. And that's so true. Having this t-shirt business and having King's Closet, it's like, okay, I can't rely on family. I can't rely on just friends to be able to support this business. I got to go out there and I got to talk to people. I need to be invited to your meeting. If I gather one more person, that's one more person who's going to buy my stuff or tell somebody else about what I do. And so get out of your comfort zone and stop being lazy, because that's what happens. We get lazy. We want mommy. We want sister. We want the EBO.
That we have to work hard for people that don't even care what your mission is. People that, it's just more
exactly.
Like, oh, this is my mom, my sister, my cousin. I'm just going to support you. I don't really care about what it is. So I agree.
Here comes the sweet girl.
Oh, the sweet girl. I get to see the sweet girl.
So to go to the groups, I have a number of groups on Facebook. And I created most of these groups to give people the opportunity to promote their business. Because even with EBO, we had Entrepreneur of the Week, which was so great. And I did it this year. I had, again, this t-shirt business. I hate saying t-shirt business, but this apparel business has really consumed a lot of my time. But with the Entrepreneur of the Week, it gave entrepreneurs the opportunity to be in platforms that they hadn't been in before, to be in front of people. Hey, sweet girl. You want to say hello, little sweet girl? Here comes my little sweet girl.
Okay.
Let me have some water before I grab the sweet girl. Hey, little sweet girl, you want to come over here with me, little sweet girl?
Oh, let me see her.
So here's the sweet girl. This is the sweet girl.
Oh, look at that. And then she's like, well, wait, where's mama going? Hey, sweet girl, look at that. Oh, my God.
So to give people that opportunity, but so I have EBO and Friends. I have that group. I have Me Connect Promote. I have Everyday People 365. What else? I have Richmond in it.
Authors.
Yep, Authors in it Co-op. I've got that. I have Loving the Skin I'm In, which is more of a private group, and that's for the people who attend my yearly Loving the Skin I'm In event.
I didn't hear you. Are you doing that next year?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be able to attend?
Didn't know what day, because we done made it an annual thing. So I know I wasn't here last year.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I need to get you the date. Because
I haven't heard you mention nothing about it. Now that I missed it. I've been missing a lot.
I probably won't start doing Loving the Skin I'm In until November.
Okay.
So that's when I reach out to all of the previous vendors and find out who the speakers are going to be. So I have Loving the Skin I'm In, again, which is really a private group. I just opened the Glue Apparel group. I've got Richmond Events and Vendors. That's the biggest group, but that's the hardest one to maintain because it's over like 15,000 people in this group. Wow. But it's so unfortunate that that's like, prime real estate for scammers. So, it's trying to weed and see through people's scam. And I can't catch all of them. I just can't,
Okay.
So that's the most difficult one to be able to manage because you're trying to read stuff. You're trying to weed through stuff. You're trying to see who to let in the group. You're trying to see which posts you should add, which posts you should take away. So I have that group. I have Girls Night Out, which I'm probably going to delete soon.
I was about to say, I never heard of that.
Yep, I have a Girls Night Out. So that started with some of my friends. We would go out every month for Girls Night Out. And so I'm like, okay, let me start a group, and then people can post different girls' night out events. So people have some different ideas and some different things to try instead of doing the same things all the time. You want to say hello, sweet girl?
She like,
hi.
yes,
I'm the sweet girl. I'm the sweet girl, right? I'm the sweet girl. I'm the sweet girl. I'm the sweet girl.
Where's my mama? And where my snacks?
So, I think that's all of my groups.
Okay.
Oh, I have a group called I Sell.
Yes, you do. I remember you starting that group. Okay.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to have something where people weren't necessarily posting an event, but they wanted people to know, hey, this is what I sell. So those are the groups that I have. They're not that challenging to maintain, but that Richmond Events and Vendors,
that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is.
So how do you
want to say a lot, but
do you schedule? Because I know I schedule my postings. Do you use that option?
I do. Because I do a quote only in for the group. So there's a quote that goes out like every day, and I schedule those out. Some of the promos that I do, I'll schedule out, and some things I'll just do like right in the moment to post something that's going on. Right, sweet girl.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. I love everything that you are just doing, and just keep going. Keep going. You are definitely doing an amazing job. And once again, thank you for taking out your time with me on your good old Thursday night.
No, thank you for the invitation.
And we have to connect again, because it was just some things we should have continued to do.
Mm-hmm.
And though this time has allowed us to do other things, I think we need to reconnect and sit down and talk about some things.
Whatever you want, liaison. Whatever you want, liaison.
Right. Because I definitely think, we all worked well together and how we need to work. But again, we had some fun and we did some amazing things, so I would love to tap back into some of those things and then make it, better.
Well, let's do a liaison. Right. Let's do a liaison.
We've learned so much. So yes. Cool. Hey, that's all I have. Like,
I do want to share something.
Oh, well, that's what I'm about to say. Well, do you got anything coming up other than Loving the Skin I'm in?
So September 23rd, I am co-hosting Soiree's Serenade to Summer. So this is going to be a great event. It's going to be in Chesterfield.
Is this with Coach K?
No.
Okay.
Coach K is Loving the Skin I'm in.
No, I thought she was doing something else.
She's doing something on her own. I think it's called She Heals.
I was about to say, I think I recall a shoe.
Yeah. Hers is, I want to say, is She Heals, and her event is in October.
Okay.
Yeah, her event is in October. So if you go over to her page, because she's posted like all the time, and you'll see her information. And I try to share her information sometimes when I see it, but hers is in October. But
so what is this soiree?
So Soiree Serenade to Summer, it's a luncheon taking place on September 23rd from 1:30 to 5 p.m. So of course lunch is going to be served. We've got some great raffle giveaways. Now here's the great thing: you don't have to pay for the raffle ticket. You get a raffle ticket upon entrance. Cool. We've got a live DJ. We're going to have karaoke.
Where is it going to be at?
Out in Chesterfield.
Okay.
Off of Route 1, I want to say.
Like a restaurant or
it's at a rec place.
Okay.
So we have a caterer. So one of my partners.
Have you seen that on your?
And this is the great thing. We have Brown Betty, April Brown Betty. She is like one of the best comedians in Richmond, and she is on the rise. She was just on I didn't see it. I couldn't find it, but she was just on Michael Collier's, I guess his podcast or what have you. She's hosted at the Sandman Comedy Club here in Richmond. She's unbelievably funny. Chris and I actually had her on EDP 365 a couple of years ago, but she is funny. And so to be able to get her in the room before she really, really blows up, I was excited when she said yes, that she would be the comedian.
Her name is Apple Brown Betty.
Apple is you can either see it under Apple Brown Betty or Brown Betty, but I think now you'll see Brown Betty. But yeah, go to her page. I'm telling you,
I gotta check her out.
Every time I see her. Yep. Mm-hmm. Every time I see her, she's had me in stitches. So she's gonna be there, and you're getting all this for $25. You cannot beat that for $25. So again, you have lunch, you got a live DJ, you got karaoke, you got raffle giveaways, you got Apple Brown Betty, you got Brown Betty, who's going to be in the building for $25. You cannot beat that. Now, you can go over to Eventbrite. What's the matter, little sweet girl? So you can go over to Eventbrite and actually get a ticket, or you can go through Cash App. And the Cash App is Soiree AOV, and that's SOIREE AOV. Again, that's SOIREE AOV. Or you can call me directly if you have questions. And my telephone number is, yeah, you know my telephone number. You know Gigi's telephone number.
She's trying to tell us.
It's 804-424-0337. Again, my telephone number is 804-424-0337. The website is imglue.com, IMGLUE.com. To check out all the t-shirts that I have.
Oh, so
that's what I got going on.
Okay, cool beans. And so share with us one more time your group for those who are listening and those who will catch this later. You said you have a group called I Am Glue?
The apparel group is just Glue. You okay? Glue Apparel. So that group is Glue. It's Glue. It's Glue Apparel. So the $10 tees has actually ended. I'm not doing $10 tees anymore. Tees have gone up to $15, but I am running a special.
Okay.
And the new special is, which probably will go through maybe the next 2 weeks, is a buy one, get one free. But you've got to reach out to me to find out how you get a buy one, get one t-shirt.
Right.
So, okay. Yeah, those are the things that I have going on. And it's been an honor to be here. Yeah. This has been an honor. I've been waiting. I've been waiting my turn to get here.
Well, again, entrepreneurship is, it can get lonely. So here we are.
She said what? She's a liaison. She's a liaison.
You said what? Now what? Oh, you go and enjoy being a Gigi. Thank you so much for being a part of the Apology Accepted podcast.
Thank you.
You are wonderful. You are wonderful. So guys, you've heard it from the queen entrepreneur herself, Miss Lez. She has given us tips. She has given us shared stories. And so make sure you check her out on all of her list of groups that she shared with us. And don't forget, y'all, she's running a special coming up. So make sure y'all stay tuned and tap in to her so y'all can catch these specials. Until I come face to camera again, y'all, peace.